What's up everyone? Mikey Bell here with Outdoor Adventure Training, back with some new follow along ski workout videos. This is the Groomer Glutes workout. This is a body weight stability routine that is featured in our new powder prep program. This launches October 1st. We're super stoked about it. A 12-week periodized program to get you shred ready by January 1st. If you want to learn more about it, head over to our website at outdooradventuretraining.com/powder-prep. We're doing a pre-sale right now. If you sign up before October 1st, save a little bit of cash. If not, you can sign up at any time throughout the winter. But again, just an excellent tool that's gonna help you perform at your maximum on the slopes. Again, today's Groomer Glutes workout is a green circle, meaning it should be a pretty easy run or workout. We're not in the blues or the black diamonds yet. All you're gonna need is your body, some sort of a step, a bench, a chair. We're just gonna be doing some sit to stand squats. I'm gonna be using my box. Something 18 to 22 inches is perfect, and you'll probably need a mat because there are quite a few floor exercises in this routine. We'll start off with our typical dynamic warm-up, and we'll progress then into some isometric loading movements, followed by 4 rounds of 3 very simple but extremely effective exercises that are really cornerstones in our program. We're gonna end up with just a quick 5-minute core routine to just start building the fundamentals. So you might think this workout's super easy, because it is, but hey, before you progress to the double black diamonds, you probably started on some beginner intermediate runs to build the fundamentals that you need to transfer to those more difficult runs. No different in working out. We gotta start with the easy foundational stuff. And even as an expert advanced skier, snowboarder, sometimes it's good to come back to those groomers and just work on the mechanics, getting that edge. This is exactly what we're working on here. Let's get to it. So open the Outdoor Adventure Training app, click on the Groomer Glutes workout. As you can see, warm up, the isometric loading, the actual workout, ending with the core routine, only about 35 minutes or so. Great way to start off. So we'll get to it. So for the dynamic stretch, it's just 6 or 7 little exercises that are great to warm up the lower body, the hips, the back, and the core. So starting off with leg swings, this is one of my favorite dynamic stretches. All I'm doing is swinging the leg forward and back. So I'm getting a hamstring stretch on the way up, hip flexor stretch on the way back. I pretty much do these every single day. Now as a result, I have pretty decent hip mobility, or at least I'd like to think so. It's always a work in progress. So notice I'm balancing on one leg and swinging, my arms are moving a little bit. I'm all good with that. If balance is a struggle, feel free to hold on to a dowel. You can keep your hand against the wall. You could also do 20 seconds on one leg before switching 20 seconds to the other side. Whatever works. Into butt kicks now. This is getting the hamstrings worked up, stretching those quads out a little bit. Again, I'm not really traveling all that far. That's not the purpose. You can do this in a stationary position. You can head backwards. You can even go side to side, kind of mimic that slope style motion. Really what we're after here is a bit of cardiovascular warm up. If you don't actually kick your butt, that's okay. If you struggle with quad mobility, definitely get on our powder prep program. Tons of mobility there. High knee hugs, good posture with the chest. Bringing the knee up, and then you can just lace your fingers around the shin, pull up to a comfortable position. Again, we're just warming up, getting the hips opened up. You might get a little stretch in the hamstrings here. You should definitely feel it in the hip flexors. Also balance. Everything we do is really working on balance and core stability. Okay, high knees coming up next. If you need to go slow with these for whatever reason, you can go like this, but ideally, similar to the butt kicks, trying to get some power going, driving those knees up, right? And again, I could do these stationary, I could do them in a circle. It really doesn't matter. Just trying to get those knees up high if you can. My good friend Ben Davidson was always so good at these. He like got his knees way up here. Okay, walking lunges. We're gonna do a lot of reps of these today. It's in our workout, so we're just warming up. This is just as much of a dynamic stretch as it is a strength stability exercise. So all I'm doing is striding forward to an appropriate length. And appropriate's gonna look different from person to person, but I'm trying to get this 90 and 90. Front leg and back leg. I'm really trying to drive off the heel of the front leg to get that glute activated. Grimmer glutes, baby. Side lunges are next. All I'm doing, stepping out to the side. My feet might be a little bit staggered. This leg out in front, just heel in line with the toe. And I'm sinking down to one side, okay? Great stretch in the adductors. Getting the quads warmed up. Back to center. Switching sides. Obviously, your adductor flexibility will probably determine how far down you go. Get a few more, team. Try to keep the chest up. Okay, my favorite dynamic stretch. I put in pretty much every dynamic warm up because it's just such a great routine. Trying to get the fingertips on the ground, bend your knees if you can't get there. Walking it out to a plank and then knees locked, knees locked. You're moving on the ankles and the toes to walk your feet in as far as you can without bending your knees. Walking back out to a plank. Right, so you might only go this far and that's fine. As you progress through our mobility programming, that's gonna get a lot better. Last one. Okay, nice. Hopefully body temperature's up, respiratory rate's up, heart rate's up, mine is. Just a quick shout out to Path Projects, hooking it up with some sweet trail running swag. This clothing is amazing. I'll put a link in the description with a coupon code as well. All of their stuff is so great. I've been super stoked on it. Just got back from Indonesia. I was wearing it like every day out there. Super lightweight, super comfortable, great for trail running, hiking, mountain biking, really any outdoor activity. They got sun hoodies, sweet shorts, great underwear. It's good stuff. I love it. Okay, isometric loading. Sorry, I was jabbing. Okay, so all I'm doing, very simple, and you'll find that it's not so simple. I'm just balancing on one leg, trying to keep this knee over my second and third toe, meaning it's not caving in, and that's it. Isometric, meaning I'm not moving up or down, I'm just holding, okay? Notice I have a lot of bend in the knee, the hip, and the ankle. Not necessarily as much as I can, but maybe somewhere between fully extended and fully bent, somewhere in the middle. But I'm isometrically squeezing, meaning I'm thinking about squeezing my glute, hamstring, and quad. Okay, switching to the other leg. I'll switch sides here so you can see. Okay, so just a little bend. We're only doing one round of this stuff. It's easy. We're just warming up, right? This is day one of the program. If you're in the powder prep program, these are the greens. Once we progress to the blues and the blacks, I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna get freaking hard. But just keeping that bend, you should feel this lighting up, glutes, quads, even calves. But you have to think about, which we're gonna talk a lot about today, neuromuscular efficiency, squeezing the glutes. Okay, this next one is harder. We're doing the same isometric load, but on the forefoot, okay? So, just like I'm doing here, I'm on the fore of my foot. You might want to be close to a wall, have that trusty dowel, whatever it is, to stay balanced. I'll do my best without any assistance. So again, I'm not necessarily up on my toes as much as I can, but as long as your heel's off the ground at all, cheating. And then again, creating that brain muscle connection, squeeze and fire those glutes. And of course, great posture. Not like this, right? You'll find that it's actually much easier to balance when you maintain excellent posture. And posture, excellent posture, I'm just talking about spinal alignment, meaning we're not bent in any direction with our spine nice and neutral. Okay, switching legs. You should be feeling this in the legs, hopefully. I'll do this from the anterior view because it's really important to pay attention to your knee, although I wouldn't recommend looking at it, especially if you're moving around a lot. Find a nice static point to stare at. Focus. Breathe, bend those knees, bend those hips. Just one short, easy round of these. And then we're ending with a wall sit after this one. Isometric strength is super valuable. Think about skiing. Hopefully your legs are always bent when you're skiing. It's a great blend of isometric and dynamic movements, meaning you're kind of going up and down, but you're more or less always in that isometric stance. Okay, wall sit. Find a nice sturdy wall. Hopefully you got one. If not, if you're outside, find a tree, find a bench. Okay, so I'm trying to get a 90-degree angle with my legs. Just 1 minute, just 1 minute. It's only September, right? If your legs are worked at the end of this workout, there's no shame in that. Glad you're doing this early. Think about how strong you'll be by the time December and January roll around when the snow starts flying. Okay, so in the wall sit, I'm obviously not letting the knees cave in, externally rotated. It's really easy to feel the burn in the quads. Try to get that in the glutes, okay? And if you're up like this, you're only cheating yourself, my friend. Get down there to a 90. You can do it. 20 seconds left. Only doing this one time, and the rest of the workout will be moving. Pushing the sacrum into the wall, squeezing those glutes. Nice work. Okay, got a 40-second rest. We're doing some glute bridges. I'm gonna throw my mat down for this little mini circuit. I'm also gonna set my bench up, bench, box, whatever you have, chair, it's all good. And then grab a sip of water as well. Whew. You should be warmed up now, I hope. Okay, glute bridges. Classic oat exercise, classic exercise in the fitness industry. I didn't make these up. These have been around for ages. Bringing my heels in as close to my hips as I can, or relatively close. Trying to keep my feet square. My knees are again in line with my toes. I'm squeezing the glutes and hamstrings to press my hips up, okay? This might look easy, but we're gonna be doing a total of 4 minutes of these in this workout. And again, we're really focusing on neuromuscular efficiency, okay? We talk a lot about this in outdoor adventure training because really it is the foundation. If you have a strong brain-body connection, you're so much stronger than just going through the motions of pushing your hips up and down, right? So notice I'm holding this up position for some time to really concentrate and be present and think about squeezing those glutes, and then take a break and come back up. And we'll talk more about some other cues with the core on the next set. Okay, coming up, these are short rest intervals. Shouldn't need too much time with this workout. We're doing sit to stand squats. One of my favorite variations of the squat to teach people to use their glutes and their core in a squat, which a lot of people don't. Okay, so chest is up, the bench is behind me, and all I'm doing is sitting back and just tapping my sit bones, the upper part of my hamstrings, lower part of my glutes on the bench, but I'm not sitting and relaxing, right? I'm keeping good posture. I'm very much engaged, kind of like the isometric holds, and then squeezing the glutes and finishing the rep, okay? That's key. The synonym is doing push-ups like this, right? I wanna get full range of motion. I don't know if synonym is the right word, analogy, sorry. Sitting back, squeezing those glutes and hamstrings to come back up, and I'm completing the rep by that posterior pelvic tilt, tucking the tailbone under, really engaging the core for sitting back for another rep. Pay attention to your feet and your knees. Your feet don't need to be perfectly parallel. A little bit of external rotation is okay, but the knees do need to stay over those toes, meaning they're not caving in. We'll get plenty of time to work on these. Okay, I'm just gonna move this out of the way so I have some room for lunges. Okay, walking lunges. We're gonna dive into the nitty gritty of form. I'm gonna start early so I have more time to talk. I don't love talking, but for these videos it's necessary. Okay, reaching forward, dropping this back knee down. Notice my cervical column, right? So my head, my neck, stacked over my shoulders, over the hip, and then I can push off that front knee back to center. Striding out, sinking down. Okay, so a lot of people in the lunge will either compromise their form by leaning forward or having this weird motion where they lock their knee out and then bring their hip forward. We're really driving off that front heel. This is a glute and hamstring dominated exercise. People think lunges are quads. Yes, it's a synergist muscle, but if you were to Photoshop out my back leg, what is this? It's a one-legged squat. So I should try to push off that front leg. It's no different than a squat. Focus on the knee. Staying externally rotated, that is. Okay. We got a nice 40-second rest here before we repeat that again. This shouldn't be too bad. Again, we're setting the fundamental techniques so we can advance to the more advanced workouts and exercises. You can't, everyone wants the gnarly 30-minute plyometric, high intensity. That stuff's great. But if you don't have this in place first, honestly, you're wasting your time. Some fitness influencer out there is gonna challenge me on that, but whatever. I don't care about that. Okay, glute bridges. Let's really focus on technique here. My heels are in. Make sure your feet are about straight ahead. Squeeze those glutes. I'm gonna challenge you to hold for like 3 to 5 seconds every rep here, okay? In this up position, I'm also thinking about drawing my belly button in so my core is really engaged. I'm not overextending through the lower back, right? Creating that tension, so it's a bit of counter pressure where I'm pressing up through the glutes, drawing through the abdominals. Okay, that was a 30-second. I'll do one more 30-second rep. I'm not getting a ton of range of motion in the glute bridge. This round, I'm gonna face you. Get my trusty box, because I want you to really pay attention to the knees. That's what it's all about here. Okay, so the bench is behind me, box. Doesn't really matter where it is all that much, as long as it's behind you. Okay, so feet are neutral, maybe slightly externally rotated, starting in that same glute bridge position. Hopefully you're starting to see the connection. Sitting back, tapping, back up. The nice thing about the tapping is hopefully we can try to keep the chest up a little bit more. If you do need to come all the way down and sit, that's fine. Try to minimize the rock, right? Try to really use those glutes, okay? If you're used to squatting with hundreds of pounds on your back, great. But these could still be a very challenging and effective exercise for honing in your technique. Okay, most common thing I see in this exercise is knees tend to cave in due to weak glutes. So here, especially on the way down, really think about pushing out. If you know you have that tendency to cave in, over-exaggerate. That's okay. Overcorrect, and hopefully your body doing the real thing will find equilibrium. One more good rep. Nice. Back to the lunges. Okay, so walking lunges, again, striding forward, and that does matter. So from the anterior view, I'm not walking a tightrope. Feet are staying hip width distance apart. And when I drop down, this knee is tracking straight, right? You don't want this. That's dysfunctional. We'll talk way more about that stuff in this workout and future workouts, pretty much every video I film. So I'm just kind of modeling what a rep would look like from the anterior view. It doesn't need to be perfect, right? This is day one. We're still on the groomers. I'm not taking you down shoot 3 in the bowl at Mount Ashland yet, but that workout will be there. Shoots and glutes, that's a good name. If you got any good names, creative names for not just ski specific, but any outdoor related workouts, I freaking love it. One of my favorite things about my job, brainstorming. Still staying focused here. If you want a little extra challenge, not only are you squeezing this glute coming up, but that back glute, you can get a little bit of hip extension. Just don't let it lean you forward. Still gotta clear the hip on both sides. Okay. Nice little rest. We got 2 more rounds of that. I got a little sweat going. My legs are feeling it, not gonna lie. I've been out in Indonesia for the last month. I did hit some leg workouts. I ran a fair bit, but I was surfing a lot. Can't say surfing's the best for leg endurance and ski preparation, but it was a lot of fun. Stoked to keep practicing that craft and slowly improve. It's a slow progression. Okay, glute bridges. I might just do a 60-second rep here. More of an isometric hold, which I'm all about. Focus on your breathing. Again, drawing in through the core while simultaneously activating those glutes. This creates a lot of tension through the lumbopelvic hip complex, which is amazing. That's what we want. This is the foundation of being a strong athlete. I don't care what your sport is. These 3 exercises that we're doing right now and variations of all of these 3 exercises as you progress, man, that's where it's at, team. And I'm also thinking about where the weight is in my feet, right? If you're in your toes too much, you're not gonna get the glute activation. Press through the heels. And I normally don't say lift your toes off the ground because that's not how we're gonna really perform. Try to keep them flat, but you're thinking about pushing the weight through the heels. Nice. Okay, coming back up, sit to stand squats. I'll demo another lateral side view. I'll come forward a little bit. Hopefully I'm in the middle of the frame. Man, filming solo is a challenge sometimes. Like, you guys don't see the whole setup process, but it's a bit sometimes. You know what I'm gonna do? What I might recommend, grab a light weight and we'll see how this changes the exercise, holding this out in front. And you might find, like, how much more upright you can keep your upper body. You could hold anything out in front. This is just a little 10-pound medicine ball, slam ball. Doesn't bounce. Out in front, sitting back. This will definitely make it harder. You're gonna feel it more in your core, but that's great. This is not one we're really doing much of an isometric hold. You could hold for a second or 2. Just don't lose your technique and your posture. And if you're gonna emphasize any motion with this exercise, it's the eccentric, the way down, so going slow. Keeping that spine nice and loaded. And finishing your rep. Nice work. Okay, medicine ball is totally optional. Walking lunge, we're not gonna change anything. Focusing on posture, technique, okay? You might need to play with your stride length. I've been doing walking lunges for more years than I'd care to admit. And I could do them with my eyes closed pretty much all day long. Maybe not. Balance is still a factor. But as far as stride length, I got that pretty dialed. You might not at home, and that's okay. I'm excited to be back in the Oat Gym, filming some new workouts for y'all. Been getting a lot of new subscribers lately, which of course we're stoked on. I want to spread the love of good fitness information. But even that, you got to experiment for yourself. I'm not a guru. I've just been practicing this for a while and want to share it with y'all. but I am by no means perfect. Almost done, team. Couple more. Okay, nice work. One more round. And then the core finale, of course. Grab a sip of water. I just want to reiterate, whether you're an advanced athlete or just starting out, these kinds of workouts should be your bread and butter. Or maybe, I don't really eat bread and butter. I don't know why that's a thing. My lentils and potatoes, let's say. Your go-to items that you should really always fall back on when anything comes up. Okay, let's do a 60-second rep, team. Let's get it. Drawing in, squeezing the glutes. I also got a new fancy microphone and I hope it works. This will end up being like a to go back and find out that the audio like the weather cut out. Because I still worked out for 40 minutes, but basically talked to myself the whole time and gotta do it again. That's part of the process. Drawn in through the abdominals, squeezing those glutes. Your glutes should be firing. Try this can't work out. Almost done, team. Hang in there. Final set of these. Squeeze those glutes. Nice work. Okay, sit to stand squats. I'm gonna go ahead, anterior view, head on. I'm gonna grab that medicine ball again. That felt really good last set for core activation. Okay. Chest up, and you don't need to hold this way out in front, right? Just right here is good enough. Squeeze those glutes. Pay attention to the knees, right? You might find that right as you go to come up, they wanna buckle. Really, really concentrate. Keep them out. We're over exaggerating the motion to get that glute engagement. Glutes do external rotation of the hip, hip extension. We should be focusing on those two motions in the squat. Not that the adductors and quads aren't contributing to this motion, but again, people tend to be very quad dominant, especially skiers, cyclists, things that are very anterior chain focused. And you're setting yourself up for injury prevention and just more balanced biomechanics for the rest of the year that you're not skiing. One more for good measure. Okay, last set of lunges coming up. I'm gonna get this out of the way. We're done with it. Walking lunges. You know what? I'm gonna hold the medicine ball. This is definitely a stability routine. Adding 5 or 10 pounds of resistance can actually be really beneficial for the overall activation that one experiences. But this is by no means necessary. If you're like, dude, my legs are fried, I haven't done a leg day in 4 years. Good work being here, first of all. But secondly, you do not need to use weight to have an effective workout. The powder prep workout will be exclusively body weight. There will always be options to add resistance, add the Bozu ball, but outside of that, it's gonna be body weight. You don't need big, heavy dumbbells or barbells to be strong. Although they're great tools, they're not essential. I would encourage you, if you're gonna get one piece of equipment, it's a toss-up, but the Bozu ball, the TRX, a pair of adjustable dumbbells, all great options. And feel free to hit me up if you got questions about equipment to pick up. I know a lot about that stuff. Okay, getting into our core routine. Super simple. 5 exercises, should take about 5 or 6 minutes because there is some rest involved. A plank, knee-ins, some lumbar walkouts, which are actually quite difficult. A low side plank, followed by a high plank at the end, and we're done, team, we're done. Almost there. This should be the fun part. Okay, low plank, 60 seconds. We're gonna try to focus on some glute engagement in some of these exercises. And one of them is the low plank, okay? So I'm on my forearms, my elbows. If for whatever reason this is uncomfortable, you could try to pad it with blanket, towel, pillows. But I'm also, of course, drawing in, bracing through the abdominals. I'm not letting my hips stick up too high. I can counter that by squeezing my glutes, right? Like if my knees were bent, it'd be the same position as a glute bridge. I can't bend both, well, if I was like this, right? This is like an inverted glute bridge. So, the supine glute bridge. That is a thing. Yeah, we have that. Or prone glute bridge. Okay, so here we are. I'm squeezing the glutes, drawing in through the belly button. Again, these are just some isometric. We do have some concentric movements in here as well, but just fundamental exercises. They're a great place to start after a summer of not getting ski ready. September is a great time to start. Okay, V-sit knee-ins. Just gonna roll over to my hips here. Pretty much every year around this time, getting ready for ski season. Sometimes a little later, sometimes a little earlier, but wherever you are, it's right where you're meant to be. Okay, V-sit. I'm making the V with my thighs and my upper body. Film these in other YouTube videos if you're following us. All I'm doing is keeping my toes up, extending the legs out, keeping the heels close to the ground, drawing them back in. So we're eccentrically stabilizing, concentrically contracting. I'm not moving my upper body a whole lot. I'm trying to actually stay pretty rigid through there while extending the lower body and the legs. The other thing to really think about here is it's not just our core, well, our abdominals. Our hip flexors are also part of that core complex, which we do need to strengthen as well as mobilize. In the powder prep program, we got a lot of hip flexor stretching and strengthening, essential for longevity in your ski season and career. A few more reps, team. Nice work. Okay, for lumbar walkouts, you're gonna lay down like you would in a glute bridge. I've been loving this exercise. Seems super easy, but it's freaking hard. Got this from the Chi running book. Danny Dreyer, awesome coach. Hopefully do one of those classes someday. So all I'm doing, first, I'm pushing my lumbar spine into the floor. If you can fit your hand underneath, you're blowing it. Slowly, I'm gonna walk one foot out at a time. You're gonna feel this light up the core, lumbar contact. Nice and slow, as much as you can. Keep that contact. Slowly walk it back in. Might only get a few reps of this in a minute set. But again, the key is this. If you do this, you're gonna hurt your low back and you're not gonna get the activation we're looking for. Press, see I'm that posterior pelvic tilt, just like in the squat. Walk it out, take as long as you want. And go very, very slow. Core engagement, walk it back in. Nice work. And if you can't go all the way out, that's fine. One more great rep. Come on, team, let's go. It's gonna cut into our rest interval for sure. I love it. Nice and slow, walk it out. Walk it back in, you're not done yet. Finish the rep. Okay, nice job. All right, we got some low side planks next. These are only 40 seconds. You should crush it. And if not, I'll show you some variations to make it a little easier. Okay, so the side plank, low side plank, I'm on the elbow, forearm, my feet are stacked. If this is too difficult, you can keep your feet wide. If that's even too difficult, bend your bottom knee and just hold it on a knee. That might be a great place to start for you. I'm gonna do my best to do it. The whole real deal. Keeping my hand over the shoulder, keeping those hips up, right? I'm not sagging. A lot of oblique stuff, strength. We're gonna be doing a lot of oblique exercises in the powder prep program, getting that torsional strength to get that angulation and drive. And we're gonna have no rest here, team. We're switching to the other side. So again, if you gotta make this easier, probably the best way to do that is just bend that bottom knee Keep those hips up, do it supported. I'm all good with that. Keep those hips up. Powder Prep program has 5 workouts a week, plus 2 cardio workouts on the weekend. Those are intended to be outside or more endurance style to help you build that ability to ski for 8 hours a day. But it's pretty complete. All right, team, last exercise, hang in there. It's just a high plank, simple. Core should hopefully be feeling a little bit. We are gonna have some very serious core workouts in the Powder Prep program as well. Okay, so I'm splaying my hands nice and wide. Shoulders over the hands. No different than the low plank. Squeeze those glutes. Just a minute here, team. You know, a lot of people love doing core stuff at the end of every workout, and I wouldn't say at the end of every single workout, but a lot of times just those like 3 to 7 minutes of some maintenance stuff is an excellent way to just keep the core firing. And the core specific workouts are more than just planks, right? There's a lot of different exercises in there that challenge you in a more dynamic way. Hang in there, team. We're almost there. If your upper body is fatiguing, that's okay. We're gonna have a lot of upper body workouts in this program too. Nice job, gang. Hopefully that wasn't too terrible. I'm sweating pretty good. It's hot in here. Should be a 4 to a 6 as far as RPE. My dad's gonna love that, that mistake. But great job, team. Thank you so much for being here. Excellent workout. Once again, my name is Mikey Bell. Check out our Powder Prep program. All of the details are on our website, outdooradventuretraining.com/powderprep. Of course, we also have our custom programming, which might be interesting to you if you have significant injuries or other interesting variables that might prevent you from the standard program. Have any questions? Always feel free to hit me up, and we'll see you next time here at Outdoor Adventure Training.